Cameron, could you sing us the podcast intro song, please?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Me? I guess I can.
Believe it. Great.
It's the Chaotic Voyage. I'm Cameron, let's go.
He's Cameron, let's go. Welcome back to the Chaotic Voyage podcast. Today we have Captain Cameron.
That's me.
And First Mate Paris, which is me.
Thanks for joining
Paul
us.
Johnson can't be here today because he broke his back just to know our names.
Yep, he sure did. Sad.
Little Killers reference for you there.
Little Killers? What's that?
No, not the Little Killers, just the normal Killers, but it's a little reference. Speaking of
Little Killers. Ant-Man.
Oh yeah. Have
Like
you
you
heard
said
about the theories of how he's going to crawl into Thanos' butthole and resize?
Yeah, that's weird.
Do you think that'll happen? I mean, it's a pretty good tactic.
I don't think it's going to happen. Sorry.
That's a shame, because I think it would be I think it'd work.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Little Killers, what were you going to say before?
I was going to do a bleep, but I realised we don't do those anymore.
Oh, we can. And because this one's probably going to be released close to April Fool's Day, the bleep is fuck! So, yeah. Just to mix things up.
You fool?
No.
What about, maybe I was a fool to think you could be king?
Yeah,
is anyone going to know what we're talking about?
Fly, you fools. I'll get that one.
Alright, one of those will do.
Yeah. Or we just spend the rest of the podcast coming up with different bleep noises, and then we bleep all the ones we don't choose.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about, illusions, Thanos? You have no time for my illusions.
Nice. That was so good.
I really liked that. I really want to see Will Arnett in a Marvel movie. I think he'd do great.
I don't know who'd play, but probably.
Maybe just like a joke character, but who can be serious sometimes, like Star-Lord, kind of.
Yeah.
Or Ant-Man.
There's like theories that Arrested Development takes place in the same universe as Marvel. Just because in the main one is in Civil War, in like the airport fight scene, the blue stair cars in the background.
Oh yeah, you have mentioned that. I forgot about
It's only like an Easter egg, obviously, because the Russo brothers were involved in Arrested Development. So it's
That's
not like
so cool. I love when like shows do that in movies.
Yeah. I love seeing like shows just tie together on like really small things. I mean, obviously it's not like saying Arrested Development is canon to Marvel, but you know, you could draw that conclusion.
Yeah, it's cool to think about.
Yeah.
Speak about cool. Boy, do we have a really cool show for you today.
Do we? Don't get the hopes up. They've already like heard that it's just the two of us and like half our audience got snapped out of existence.
Yeah, we have a good show for you today. We're going to talk about all sorts of things. And one of those things is something that I'm going to say right now, Cameron. Which restaurant or food chain would you be most upset about shutting down?
Ooh. Restaurant
maybe
or food
Barney's,
chain?
maybe?
I don't go there that often. Chefs of Tandoori.
Yeah, there's this one Indian restaurant that Cameron gets his butter chicken from when he doesn't make it himself.
Haha.
And if that shut down, you'd be pretty devastated, wouldn't you, Cameron?
Yeah. Also, like, I know the owners, so I'd be sad for them.
And where would your dad not get the rice from? Where would your dad forget the rice from?
Wow, that's a reference that no one who listens to the podcast will get.
Steve will get it.
He doesn't listen to the podcast.
Wow.
Fuck! May or may not. Oh, bleep that.
Yeah. Yeah. Who?
Fuck the man.
Fuck the man. Yeah.
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 Speaking of food, though, sorry to cut away, but I tipped the Uber driver I had yesterday.
Nice.
He was really cool. His name was David. Got out of the car and he's just like, "Hey, I'm David." I'm like, "I'm Cameron." And he's like, "Nice to meet you." And we shook hands, and then it's just like, "Have a good day." I was like, "Thank you." And
You
so I was
reckon he
like,
did that to get a tip in order to get a tip?
probably, but he did it well.
And
It's just like,
that's really like, I've never had an Uber driver shake my hand, so that's nice. But also, I love how this episode and last episode we've just been talking about Uber Eats. That's like the go-to topic now.
well, actually, there was supposed to be an episode before this. Where is that, Paris?
Oh, it's coming.
Is it?
It's coming.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know which one's going to come out first. The one that we're recording like 2 days before Saturday, or the one that we recorded last week.
I don't know. It's a race. We'll see.
Alright, well, if this one comes out first, make sure to harass Paris for being late. If this one comes out second, well, that's because Paris should have made the other one last week. So, yeah.
Here's one. Here's a topic. Ding bong. What's the most addicted to a game you've ever been?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I was pretty, I guess, addicted to
Halo.
No. Are you gonna do any more guesses before I said the actual answer?
Minecraft? Trove.
No, I've never been addicted to Trove. Let's get one.
Really? You can't put it down.
I'm addicted to getting trophies in games, but that game sucks.
Trophies. GTA.
No.
Alright, I'll let you answer.
Thank you, Paris.
You're welcome.
I'd have to say like Avengers Academy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. You definitely were.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
You don't have that anymore, do you?
No, I stopped like years ago.
Okay. Alright.
But it's one of those time-based things. And I'm sure you would have been addicted to like Simpsons Tapped Out.
I was, yeah, a little bit.
So it's pretty much like that, except
it's like exactly the same.
Marvel heroes. So it's so much better and obviously easier for me to get addicted to.
It's the exact same game.
Yeah. What do you mean? What are you laughing at me for? You're the one who was addicted as well. You're not any better
I don't know.
than I am.
It's the same.
How dare you get addicted to a mobile game, Cameron?
Alright, go on, Kevin.
What do you mean?
Didn't you have more to say?
No.
No? Alright. Then I
it.
guess I'll go. Guess what game I was addicted to, Cameron?
Was it Simpsons Tapped Out?
Oh, you betcha.
Wow, that's a surprise.
I know, right? Yeah, so...
Glad I never played a shitty game like that.
It's the exact same game.
That was the joke, Paris.
Cameron.
Yes?
But there was also another game I was addicted to.
Farmville.
No, I never got into that, actually.
I did.
Did you?
I was probably addicted to that at some point. Well, actually...
Learning all sorts of things.
I don't know, it's hard to say if I was addicted to it or not, because the thing is with games like that is that you play them a lot and you notice you're playing them a lot because there's like time-based events. Like
you have to wait 10 hours for your guy to finish doing a task.
Yeah. So like you end up playing it heaps, but because you're waiting for the task to be done, it takes a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was ever addicted to Farmville, but I played it a lot. If that makes sense.
Nah, that makes no sense to me.
Alright. It's just the
it.
same with Simpsons Tapped Out. Like you just well, I have to log back in at this point. I don't think I was ever set an alarm to wake myself up at 2 a.m.
I never did that. But yeah, they're definitely designed for you to be like, I have to keep playing in order to progress type thing.
Yeah, so I don't think I'd say addicted to Farmville, but I played it a lot just because that's how the game's designed.
If we're going by that, then I guess I'm the same with Tapped Out. Do you know that I did
drugs?
Video game?
What drugs have you been addicted to, Paris?
Does sugar count Or caffeine.
Caffeine would, yes.
I guess I have a mild addiction to caffeine. I never used to have it until we started doing like
Drugs.
barista made. No, stop with the drugs.
Yes, Paris.
You're gonna
Stop
make me
with
relapse.
the drugs. Stop with the drugs.
All right. Till we started doing barista made iced coffees at work, I'd never drink coffee because I don't really like hot coffee or warm coffee.
Yeah.
But then the minute I tasted one of those delicious iced beverages, I never looked back. They're so good. Like now I have one, at least one every time I have like a midday shift. Sometimes two. So I guess it is a bit of an addiction because I have one pretty much every one of those shifts.
All right. Paris, I'm gonna have to get you to repeat after me. My name is Paris.
My name is Paris.
And I'm addicted to caffeine.
I'm addicted to caffeine.
Thanks. Now we can start the steps to recovery.
Is that the name
what?
of this title of this episode? My name's Paris, and I'm addicted to caffeine.
It is now.
Great. Yeah, but alright. I don't think I'm as bad as most people. I still think I could function if I didn't have a coffee in the morning or whatever, but it certainly helps. And now that I've discovered these iced coffees, I guess I can label myself as a coffee drinker now.
Nice. I'd say good for you, but not really.
Yeah, not really. Does sugar count as... You can be addicted to sugar, right?
I don't know. I mean...
It's not like a drug, but...
Yeah,
you can be addicted to almost anything these days.
You could be addicted to, like, things with sugar, but it's not, like, the same as being addicted to, like, caffeine or something. Because doesn't caffeine starts to affect you to the point where you need it to actually survive.
I'd argue that that could happen with sugar too.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never really heard that point of people just like addicted. Because I mean, I've heard of people addicted to coffee, where they're like, man, like it's such a common thing now, and people think it's okay. Obviously, I'm not a coffee drinker, and I find it weird that people are so cool with it, where they're like, don't talk to me. I'm like, I'm terrible with that.
I have my coffee.
Yeah, it's like, well, just don't be a bitch. There's just things like that, and there's people who just they can't go days without coffee, and it's just like, man, that's not good.
That's definitely not me. I don't think I'm at that point. I could
have
go
you gone
without
a day without coffee.
I could go without coffee.
But have you?
Yes, I've gone without coffee. Like even lately, I have. Like I don't drink them on the night shift, really.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't have too many. But yeah,
I don't have more than 2 a day, and I think there's been 1 or 2 times where I've had 3 cups, but like that was when I just had absolutely shit sleep the night before, and I think that the coffee's going to change that, but like only more sleep will change it.
Yeah.
Or I've had a hangover, and I think the coffee's going to cure it, and again, only time will cure it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could be addicted to coffee, definitely. I think you could be addicted to sugar, because I think I don't know if I am at the moment, obviously, because like there's sugar in everything. Unless you go out of your way to find things that specifically don't have sugar.
Right.
So it's kind of like a normal thing these days that just everything has a bit of sugar in it. So I guess you could just call me like a consumer instead of a sugar addict.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, obviously I prefer stuff with sugar in it because it's nicer than stuff better without usually. But like, I wouldn't call myself addicted to it by any means.
I guess
I could go without it, I swear.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're just used to having everything with it because that's the way things are, unless you go out of your way to get things that have no sugar. So it's just like you're used to eating and drinking things with sugar in it.
Yeah.
And so you're probably not addicted to it, so you probably could go without sugar. Like it obviously when things wouldn't taste as good, you might be disappointed.
Yeah.
But like it's not like I don't think you'd have withdrawals and like start sweating and like, give me that sugar. Like you could definitely do it.
I've gone days without sugar.
Yeah, I've gone days without sugar. Like I used to drink a lot of soft drink.
Yeah.
But now I don't really have it unless my exception is if I'm with friends and they're drinking. Yeah. Or if I'm out having alcoholic drinks because I usually have like bourbon and Coke or Scotch and Coke. So those are my exceptions. But like I used to just go to the fridge, get a can of drink, whatever. Now I like don't have any cans in the fridge. I think... Or I'll buy Pepsi Max now, which I know like that it's still not great for you, but at least it's got no sugar.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've cut down a lot on my sugar intake.
Nice.
Which is good. So like if I was really addicted to sugar, I don't think I'd just be able to do that. Like use my willpower to do that. Because one day I was just like, I don't need this, and then just decided not to have as much. Like if you had someone that was really addicted to it, I think there'd be more of a fight, more of a struggle. Like
yeah, you couldn't just quit. You'd have to make an effort to quit.
You'd probably need to like I don't know, sign them into like a rehab clinic or something.
Or like wean yourself off of it.
Yeah.
Even that's probably
really get your friends and family to help.
Yeah.
So I've never been at that stage with like sugar addiction or caffeine addiction. I think if you can just decide to like break the cycle or like I don't know. Because I was about to say that, but then I realized that smoking, people like often quit all the time, but then they start again.
Yeah.
And then they'll quit for like another 2 months and then they'll start again. So I don't know, like if you did decide to quit for a short time or cut down, you can still call that an addiction because like people do that with smoking all the time. So I'm not sure. But I guess caffeine and sugar is less addictive, I'd say. And more, maybe it's just because it's more normal, we find it more socially acceptable because there's sugar and caffeine in so many things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe the point I was trying to make doesn't actually make much sense.
Nice.
But I think like it would be difficult to completely stop consuming anything that you do on like a regular basis. So like, yeah, I'm not condoning like smoking and then stopping and then smoking again, just like stopping constantly, but at least you're putting in like a good effort to try and cut down. I'm not saying it's better than quitting altogether, but if you are someone who smokes and you make a conscious effort to stop, but even if you return to it later on, at least you're like doing that. At least you're trying, and that's good.
And then one time you'll just quit. Hopefully.
Well, yeah, like they say, it gets easier every time you stop for a little while. Hopefully, one day you do just quit. But hopefully. You know, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole extra step.
Yeah.
All
right. Are there any like stupid misconceptions you've had, like usually as a child? I've got an example here, and it was I don't know what age I'd be. It's primary school maybe. It was definitely primary school. I'm not sure like what range. So that's about what 10, 12.
Just get on with it.
The stupid misconception was like around pausing live TV. Like nowadays, I know that pausing live TV means it's basically recording, and then you can get back to it later. But I was always fascinated by pausing live TV. I was like, wow, it pauses live TV.
Wow.
That's crazy. But then when you find out that it's like, it's just a record button. It's like, that's not as cool. Still a handy feature, but
Right. So you thought that if there was like a footy game on and you hit pause, that all the players were just frozen for a while until you came back to the TV?
It's one of those things where I'm not even sure what I was thinking. And I probably didn't put that much thought into it, but I was like, pause live TV. That's live TV's paused. I was like, I wasn't really thinking about what it'd be like for other people. It'd just be like, man, that's crazy.
Wow.
But if you had anything like that, otherwise I'll cut this conversation.
I know what you're talking about, and I definitely would have.
Not off the top of your head.
Yeah, but I can't think of any.
All good. I'm just going to cut that so I don't look like an idiot. Speaking of later.
See you later. Statlander, see. Bye.
See you, Paris. Alright, welcome to the Cameron Cast. The supplementary podcast where it's just me talking to myself. Man, I'm lonely. The end. I couldn't even think of anything to
That's
say.
It. Join us next time.
Join me next time.
Join Cameron. Please, someone join Cameron.
Actually, that's an interesting question.
How lonely are you?
Not very. Thanks for asking. If you were to
Thanks
meet
for answering.
perfect girl, she likes FIFA.
Yeah, that's good.
Watching people play soccer and playing soccer. She likes playing soccer as well.
She's a soccer player.
She's a soccer fan and player. Not like in
in the W League. Well, not the W League. She plays for
she
the
just plays for fun.
Matildas. She's a Matilda. No.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I guess she's not the perfect girl. Sorry.
No, she doesn't have to be a Matilda. It'd be cool.
She likes Marvel.
Yeah.
Long walks on the beach.
I like long walks to the beach. Right, so she's the perfect girl. But
she doesn't like the podcast. Like, she finds the whole idea stupid. What do you do? Like, I'm not saying you have to break up with her. I'm just wondering.
Does she let me, I could still record the podcast, right? She just doesn't approve of it, and she doesn't listen.
I'm going to say yes, because otherwise it's like...
Or does she,
well,
stop
then
me
she's
from
controlling me.
recording it?
She's just more... She's like a waster's reaction to it. I guess now that I've said it's like a waste, you're going to be like, ugh.
Well, I put up with that, so I'm sure I can put up with her.
Yeah, but
I'm not expecting her to love it. Or
she thinks that what you're doing is stupid.
She thinks I'm a loser.
Time. Yeah, but that's probably part of your perfect girl, right?
No. If it got to the point where, she started hating me for it, and,
I'm going to say
calling
it's
me a
not
loser
to that
and
point.
stuff, then I'd probably be like, well, screw you, bitch. Well, I'd like to think I would be, but I'd probably be like, I'm so lucky to breathe the same air as you.
Alright, I'll stop it. And she's
Alright,
stopping.
anything for you, babe.
And then next episode's like, Celtic Voyage is cancelled. Sorry.
I'll be like, Cameron, I quit. Samantha said that...
Samantha?
Yeah, that's my dream girl's name. Samantha said that I can't do the podcast anymore because you're a loser and I'm a loser. So
Man,
sorry.
She sounds more and more like a waste. You're both.
My perfect
you're a
girl is
loser.
a waste. No, I hope he's
Paris,
listening.
you're a loser, and so is Cameron, and it's a bad influence on you.
He does say that a lot.
Yeah, which is why I said she sounds like a waste. But I'm not sure what other parts of a waste you find attractive, but she doesn't have the parts you don't, because obviously, perfect girl. Otherwise,
I'd say if she just didn't like the podcast and she was like, I can't believe you're recording another episode. Like, she just didn't approve of it. Then I'd still go out with her. That's just something she'll have to put up with. If it got to the point where she, like, started hating me for it and you for it, and
She'd probably hate me for other reasons.
and, like, it was just getting really toxic or something. And she, like, would try to stop me from doing it or something. Or give me ultimatums like, it's me at the podcast. I'd say, fuck off. Yeah. But it'd take me a while to get there. Like, obviously I'd be like, you're so perfect. But then once I got over that, no, I wouldn't be able to be with her, I don't think.
If it makes you feel any better, you have the podcast to talk about your problems with her.
Well, yeah, she never listens to the podcast. So I can just bitch about her.
She never listens to you.
Thanks, Kevin.
That's a joke. Sorry.
Yeah, but
she'll listen.
It's kind
like
of
perfect girl.
She'd be cathartic. She wouldn't listen to it. She'd bitch about me doing the podcast, but then because she wouldn't listen to it, I could just bitch about her on the podcast, and that's the way I deal with being with her.
Alright, new episode. Fucking Samantha, right? This bitch. And then you just complain about her for like half an hour.
And then people in the comments are like, aren't you scared she's going to find out? And I'll be like, she'll never listen to this.
She'd definitely find out, though, I think.
Oh, yeah, because someone in the comments would probably tell her or some shit.
Yeah, they have a phone number.
I mean, if I'm with her, then my friends will probably know her and talk to her.
Yeah.
So,
but then,
I'm sure
if they
someone
sell
would
you
snitch,
then they're not your friend.
And then I have no friends, and I truly am a loser. I don't even have the podcast anymore.
Yeah. I'm taking the podcast in the divorce, Paris.
Sorry. The divorce between me and Samantha, you get the podcast.
I meant you and me when we're not friends anymore in this scenario.
Oh yeah, because we're a couple right away.
I was just making a joke. But,
Yeah, me too. If I'm with someone though, I think I could deal with. I mean, there are always things that you have to deal with. I think I would probably deal with most small things, but if she doesn't like my shitty jokes, that's it. Yeah. She has to like my fucking terrible jokes, and she has to make some terrible jokes too.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big tick for me if she can make shitty jokes like me. She appreciates my shitty jokes, and that's a big tick.
I have a follow-up question that I'll ask in a sec, but
sure.
It's reminded me of today I got into the tutorial, and I don't know if you've heard my laptop boot up, but it does like a brr, brr, which isn't very loud, but then it's got a startup sound which is as loud as like the volume was when it was last on.
Right.
So usually, well, not usually because I always forget, but if I mute the audio before I shut it down, then there's no startup sound. But if I forget and I've had like the volume up heaps loud, then in class it's just like brr, brr, and it's like whoa. Again, it's not like a super loud thing, but like it's a noticeable thing. And every time it happens, like my friend just like looks at me and he's like, come on, man. But this time, so I sat down. People are still talking. It's not like I walked in the middle of like a class that was like halfway through. Yeah, so I sat down next to Rafid, and on the same table there was like
Ripley.
There's like a girl who was like the only empty seat was between the girl and my friend.
Yeah.
And so I sat down. I turned it on, and obviously the sound was up pretty loud, so it's like boom, and fuck just looks at me, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And the girl next to me just laughs, and I was like, uh-oh. Yeah.
So there's like two noises when it starts up.
Yeah.
I imagine the first noise is kind of the warning noise that goes off.
Fuck!
Turns to you and he's like, oh no, not again. What is to come? And then that second noise goes off like, bah, bah, or whatever. And then the girl like jumps out of her seat
Just deafens her. Yeah, my follow-up question was, how soon in a relationship would you tell a girl about the podcast?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I don't think that
you would.
When we date girls, it's not as serious as some other people may be.
Right.
Like, if I was to meet a girl, I wouldn't be. I want to make like a good impression, I guess, but I wouldn't be too fussed about trying to make myself sound great.
Yeah.
I'd just be, because honesty is pretty important to me, as you know. So I'd try to be honest. If she asked me if I had any hobbies, I'd say, yeah, I record a podcast with my friend for fun. I'd try to make it sound as like
it's not professional.
Yeah, not professional, but I'd try to make it sound as corny as little.
As corny as little.
Does that make sense?
I get what you mean, but I don't think it's right. Anyway, continue on.
I know what I'm trying to say.
I think
I'd try to make it sound less lame than it actually is.
I think the way you said it was like, I record a podcast with friends. It's like it's a pretty good way to say it,
I guess.
Yeah, you could even say like,
because she knows.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned just for fun.
Yeah.
So you're not like, it's not. Oh, we're gonna make it big soon. So just so you know, you're dating a future celebrity. Just in case that affects us. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't try to make it sound big or anything. I just so I think if I mentioned it in the right way, if I could mention it in the right way, I'd mention it pretty much straight up. But I would only mention it if she asked about like hobbies or anything I like to do, kind of thing.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Because I wouldn't. I'm not going to bring it up at every opportunity and brag about it.
Hey, I'm Paris. I've got a podcast. By the way, what's your name?
Samantha. Nice.
That's a good answer.
Thanks, Cam.
I'm going to steal it and say the same.
What? You'd say you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't know how to change it from what you said to another acceptable answer.
I think the reason why I was prepared for that.
I
was prepared for that.
You've met a girl.
No way. You know me. Yeah, of course not. Okay. I can't do that.
Not allowed.
Girls don't meet me, I don't meet girls. So, I've thought of this question before. And I thought, if you don't mention it straight away and you kind of wait, and they find out later, then they're kind of like, why did you never mention this to me before? Yeah. Hello. Oasis here.
I figured. Now you have to go.
Just because I like one style of joke doesn't mean I should be banned from saying it, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that night you were going a bit overboard with them.
I go overboard with jokes, it's my thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely kill jokes, and then when they're on their deathbed, or when they're in the casket, I kill them some more. It's my thing.
You can't kill something that's already dead, Paris.
Oh, watch me, Cameron, with my jokes. That's what I do.
Sounding like a serial killer, Paris. Watch me kill something that's already dead, Cameron.
We're talking about jokes.
Yeah, but that's why you said it.
Yeah,
Sound like a serial killer.
That's what I do. I beat a dead horse, and then I like blow it up with dynamite, and then I beat it up some more. You know, that's what I do with my jokes. It's the me thing.
A joke isn't dead until you destroy it and run it into the ground.
And then I run it into the ground some more. That's just me. And the girl I date is going to appreciate how far
Hopefully.
I'll go to ruin jokes.
Hopefully.
I won't date, but it's like this hypothetical woman has to hypothetically like all my
Samantha.
hypothetical shit jokes and hypothetically appreciate how I hypothetically smash them into the ground when they're already dead. I'll revive them and then smash them into the ground some more. I'm talking about the jokes, not the woman, by the way.
Not the girl.
No.
I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah,
I'm glad you.
I'm glad I
flied.
I'm glad I've Clarence Fly too.
Yeah. So
I don't think I'll ever find anyone that appreciates my jokes. They're so shit
some of
and
them are
repetitive, but that's just me. They gotta like me for me.
That's true. That's a good
Why?
attitude to have, Paris.
How do my friends even stand hanging out with me? They obviously hate the jokes.
I mean,
I
to be honest, yeah,
I think they're
Steve
in too
definitely
deep
hates them.
now. They're just got to deal with it now. They can't get out.
Steve's probably at that point.
It's because I never used to, and now because we've been friends for years, now I start doing it.
The true Paris is unleashed
like
and everyone hates him.
Yeah, they have to put up with it now. It's like, well, we've been friends for years. I'm stuck now. He's doing this thing now, and well, I'm already here. Been here for a while. I'm stuck.
Yeah, and I feel bad if I leave him. He'll have less friends if I want.
Who's he gonna tell his shitty jokes to?
He'll start talking
It's
to
probably
girls.
what it is, honestly.
Spreading his terrible jokes.
Yeah. Speaking of terrible jokes,
yes.
Give me 1 second.
I'm not in charge of time, Paris. I can't give it out willy-nilly.
Just deal me a second, alright?
I can't. Did not just listen to what I said.
Just have a word with the Time Lords and see if they can give me a second, if they can lend me a second to borrow it.
What?
So what's
you
the
gonna repay a
weirdest
second?
thing that you've ever found lying on the ground / side of the road?
Weirdest thing that I have found lying
Maybe not weird, but just like,
on the ground / side of the road.
yeah.
Oh.
Something weird that you just found out of nowhere. Like, for example, I remember someone at school, I guess this wasn't weird, this is more cool, I guess. They told me that they had a friend that once at their primary school library opened the book and found $50 inside, $50 note, and he got to keep it. It's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Ever found anything weird or maybe lucky someplace?
I'm trying to think. I'm sorry I don't keep a record of every cool thing I find on the ground.
I'm just breathing.
Yeah, but did you hear the way you were breathing?
Yes.
Alright, Paris, you tell us something cool about you.
Hi, I'm
Just
Paris,
go ahead.
and I have a podcast. It's your podcast too. And you don't like your own podcast?
I'm just giving you an example of how you breathed.
Thanks.
It's not good.
It's not good breathing.
Work on it.
I'm sorry, Master Cameron, I'll work on it.
Don't say that too loud in case Always hears it.
I'm sorry, Daddy Cameron.
Alright, that's even worse. And also the title of this podcast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I've thought of a couple. I won't mention them yet because I've forgotten some of them.
Well, I thought of a couple too.
Fuck!
In Vassy.
Nice. Bleep that.
Bleep it. Officer Vassy and her partner.
And fuck!
Nice.
That's a bleep noise in case you forget.
Oh, you know what we haven't done this episode?
Nope.
We haven't shouted out S-Dudes. Go subscribe to S-Dudes today, if you haven't.
Wow. If you haven't.
Which you probably have, because the people that follow us follow them.
It's true.
But just make sure, and don't forget to cricket a bell. What were we talking about?
Weirdest thing we found on the ground.
Right. Did you ever come up with anything?
No. Sorry, Paris.
Always really threw a spanner in this whole fucking podcast.
We should have enough, though.
I feel like we were getting a good conversation rolling, and now it's just like, what were you doing? What? That's
Sounds
mostly
like
me.
Thing.
But
Always just comes in and ruins things. That's
he
what
sure
I've learned.
does. He came in and ruined my life.
Well,
I
think that's a good place to end this podcast. A lot to think about.
A lot to think about. A lot to drink about. I've been Paris. That's been Cameron. And is that land I see in the distance?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Did you finish recording?